All right, thanks, Justin. I think that's one of our second or third or fourth fireworks reference today. I'll try to calm it down a little bit.
Fortunately, Justin kicked it back over to us before it was too late. I'm really excited, but also really sad about this matchup. These are two players I would really like to see win the tournament. I think they're both really, really strong. They've had great seasons. Two of the smartest players in the games. The fact that they're playing each other in round 2 makes me really sad, but the fact that they have to play each other, we get to watch, makes me really happy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I feel about this match.
You could also tell from their matching shirts that they're basically on the same team as far as things go. So both of these players, top level and very friendly.
Yeah, I mean, things are breaking down. They're friends, but they got to win, right? Both of them only want to win the tournament, and they got to get through each other to get there.
Win or go home.
A grudge match here, maybe one of them will need a new shirt after this match. Who knows?
You never know. So of course, Angel Miranda and Aaron Zhang, if you have been following the East Coast Pokemon, both of these names will be very familiar to you. These are some of the players that everyone talks about how terrible and challenging East Coast Premier challenges are. This is why they say that. And we're going to hop right into game 1 of this, our second round of Swiss. Again, best of 3 games. We'll be looking at Angel's screen on the top here, and then Aaron on the bottom. So Angel will be running an Aegislash, Landorus, Tyranitar, Charizard, Jellicent, and Sylveon up against Aaron's Tyranitar, Landorus, Wash Rotom, Amoonguss, Salamence, and Aegislash, as we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what these guys are running more specifically. We saw a bit of Aaron's team yesterday, though. Probably not all of his tricks, but these may well be the 2 most influential players as far as the teams they're using and how they kind of spread among the community who plays this game in North America right now. Both of them kind of innovate teams. Aaron, I guess he gets matches in front of people more than pretty much anyone, and a lot of people are just like, I'll have what Aaron's having. And Angel also very influential too. He's willing to use a lot of Pokemon that most people won't, and people kind of realize that, maybe he's got something right after all. I mean, Clefairy, I blame being a thing almost completely on Angel.
Entirely on Angel.
Yeah, and it's hardly the only thing too. There's a lot of little minor innovations. Definitely one of the smartest guys in the game, and one of the people who's not kind of afraid to challenge convention. A lot of players are like, well, I kind of think this might be good, but it's not what people do. I'm not sure if this is a thing worth trying. But Angel does not have those thoughts. She's just like, oh man, I'm smarter than everybody else. I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
Why isn't everyone else doing this?
My results weren't so great. That's not my fault. I was right for this. Everyone else just got a little bit luckier. But we are going to hop right into the game here now. Angel again on the top of your screen, leading that Landorus Therian form up against the Sylveon, up against Aaron, Landorus Incarnate form, and Aegislash. So, double Landorus on the field, but not the double Landorus we're used to.
Yeah, definitely not. It's funny, too, that Landorus Incarnate form is something that Angel actually used in the last set of regionals, so maybe his influence coming back to haunt him here. Now he's got to deal with his own monster. Sylveon will probably help him do that. Unlike the Therian Landorus, the Incarnate Landorus is a special attacking Pokemon, so Sylveon's much higher special defense will help it with that. Unfortunately, it probably won't help it with this Aegislash too much, who has that nice type advantage. However, it's not going to want to get Earthquaked either, so sort of a fun matchup here where there's threat going both ways. However, we do typically see that Ice-type hidden power coming from a special attacking Landorus, so both sides are going to need to be careful, and I think Aaron just needs to be careful in general. Angel's one of those players who could be using anything all the time, so you can never take anything he might have for granted. Yeah,
you never have any idea what's going to happen there. Looks like a Protect comes out from Sylveon, and a Hidden Power from Angel's Therian Landorus, super effective onto the Incarnate form. So, I mean, we talked about, maybe the Incarnate form likes to use Hidden Power. Turns out Therian can do that too. You see it take a little bit of damage from the Life Orb as well. Aegislash switching into its Blade form will be able to launch a Shadow Ball into that slot and deal a good amount of damage there, putting a timer on Landorus. Not that, maybe 2 more attacks it could get off before it succumbs to Life Orb recoil. But Angel always has some surprises, and there it was.
Yeah, I mean, something must be wrong here. We mentioned that one of the Landorus could use Hidden Power, but the wrong one used it. I don't understand. I'm actually really excited to see this special attacking Landorus Therian. Certainly, Landorus' special attack stat does not come close to matching its attack, but it has an okay attacking move pool, and it's one of the few potential special attacking Pokemon that can use Intimidate.
Yeah.
I remember in 2013, I really wanted to try something like this, and my friends perhaps wisely talked me out of it. But maybe it can be a thing after all. I'm actually really excited about this.
See, this is the difference between you and Angel. You let people talk you out of these crazy ideas.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it works out for Angel. He's got a ways to go yet.
He's up a Pokemon.
For now, it's looking good. Got the knockout. one of the silliest things I've ever seen. So I love it. It's hard to play against, right? You just don't have a plan for special attacking Therian Landorus.
Yeah, this is just brand new, and a Protect comes out from the special attacking Therian Landorus. Assurance from Tyranitar into the Protect, nothing going to happen there. And a Hyper Voice coming out from Sylveon, dealing a lot of damage back to Aaron's Pokemon. Oh, and the Flash Cannon just barely doesn't pick up the KO. Probably will succumb to the Sandstorm, though. We'll have to see about the roll. Yep. Sylveon will go down to the Sandstorm ultimately, but a lot of damage dealt back. So this is just a strange game so far.
To say the least. I mean, you know when you see special attacking Therian Landorus that strange is probably going to be the way that the game goes. Some difficult situations for Aaron to make, though. He's got two Pokemon that are pretty low on HP. We saw that Tyranitar most likely holding a Choice Scarf.
Yep.
And one of the the struggles of that is you don't want to get trapped with the wrong move, and with both it and this Aegislash being pretty close to being knocked out here, he's got to start thinking about what he wants to do and not ending up in a bad situation. We saw a different Choice Scarf. Tyranitar end up in a pretty rough spot there. It was locked into Ice Beam yesterday and just kind of hanging out while his team lost. So
yeah,
Aaron's going to want to be a little bit more careful.
Fortunately, being locked into Assurance is a little bit better, but it does give Angel a lot of information about how he should play around for this next turn, though.
It does, and that Assurance is not going to do too much to the enemy Tyranitar, so it can find a way to knock out this Aegislash here. It's kind of only going to be one Pokemon left to worry about. Aaron wisely not risking getting in that situation.
Yeah, Aaron will switch out his Tyranitar for Wash Rotom, just trying to make sure that he can reset the Choice Scarf there. Angel's Landorus will switch out as well in favor of Jellicent. So pretty on the field. Stance change from Aegislash going back to its shield form. Just going to let Angel's own Tyranitar get an attack off for free this turn around. Superpower from Tyranitar onto the Wash Rotom switch-in. Going to deal a little bit of damage there, but that is a bulky Wash Rotom, and Tyranitar is just going to lower all of its stats.
Yeah, that it is. It was hoping to catch the enemy Tyranitar there, but kind of a whiff. Still important to get that Rotom damage. I think Jellicent is a Pokemon who could definitely close out this game pretty well here. He has to worry about the enemy Tyranitar getting another Insurance on his Jellicent, but otherwise, Angel's in a pretty good shape with it if he can get rid of this Rotom. I guess Aegislash is dangerous too, but not likely to get a one-hit knockout. Though perhaps it will. We saw yesterday pretty powerful offensively, but Jellicent, one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the format.
Yep, Jellicent definitely very bulky. Tyranitar switching out back for the Landorus, so Angel's Landorus back on the field, intimidating the special attacking Rotom and Aegislash. Will-O-Wisp comes out from Rotom onto the Landorus, so that's going to connect. Will burn the Landorus. It may be enough to pick up the KO at the end of the turn as well with that burn damage. Aegislash switches to the Blade form. Shadow Ball comes out from Aegislash. Will it target down the Jellicent? Does connect with the Jellicent, dealing a lot of damage, and it does pick up a one-hit KO onto Jellicent. Jellicent's parting gift is disabling that Shadow Ball, but that's a KO onto Jellicent, and one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the game, and it just went down in one shot.
Yeah, once again, we're seeing the power that Life Orb Aegislash gets so many knockouts the non-Life Orb version cannot.
Yeah, and we'll have to see this burn coming out onto Landorus. Will be able to pick up the KO for Aaron, so double KO at the end of the turn there for Aaron.
Yeah, that's really great for him. Tyranitar's not going to have to come in, going to have to pick a move to deal with 3 different Pokemon, which I don't know. I mean, there's one move I can think of that has a good shot at that, as long as this Aegislash doesn't have Wide Guard. But otherwise, Aaron just played a fantastic game here. The only Pokemon he lost was to that very surprising hidden power, and Angel choosing to give this one up, throws in the towel, and we'll have to see what he can adjust for Game 2.
Yeah, definitely needs to make some adjustments there. Aaron really came out strong Game 1. I mean, Aaron's hungry. He hasn't had that much success at the national level since becoming a master, and I think he wants this one.
Yeah, he does. I think his best finish at nationals, he got to the it was top 32, I believe, 2 years ago, and things just didn't work out for him in that series. He felt like he should have won it, but it kind of got away from him. So he's looking to improve on that finish here. Just probably a couple more wins. Even if he doesn't make the top cut, he should be able to do that. But he wants to go all the way. He's tasted being a national champion before, and here's his chance.
Yeah, but Angel's definitely not a competitor you want backed into a corner either. You can never know what's going to come out from his side of the field, and we're going to hop right into game 2. Again, if Aaron takes this game, he will have won the round and move on to 2-0. Angel needs to win 2 games in a row to get the total match win. So let's hop right into game right now. Of course, Angel will be on the top of your screen. Aegis/, Landorus Therian form, special attacking Landorus Therian form. Tyranitar, Charizard, Jellicent, and Sylveon up against Aaron's own Tyranitar, Landorus Incarnate form, Wash Rotom, Amoonguss, Salamence, and Aegis/. And you have to think Angel needs to make some adjustments here.
Yeah, I think so, but he's going to have a hard time doing that. I think that from a team matchup perspective, he kind of has some trouble. Jellicent, always a Pokemon that's pretty irritating to deal with, but thanks to that Life Orb on Aegis/,
being able to pick up a one-hit KO on the Jellicent is huge.
Yeah, I mean, that prevents the option of even trying to use Recover and Curse Body to get around it. Rotom, also a Pokemon with a pretty serious type advantage on Jellicent, so that makes it tough to pick. That Charizard, the Mega Pokemon on Angel's side, also going to be tough to select because he knows about that Choice Scarf Landorus on Aaron's side, which he's going to be able to just throw a quick Rock Slide and deal with any potential problems there. So, it's just there aren't a lot of great options for Angel here. He's going to have to try to find a way to switch around and make some plays to get out of this one because I think from a team matchup perspective, Aaron has the advantage.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a position where Angel needs to make the plays instead of just hoping that his team can carry him through it. So, Angel really great at coming up with these sort of off-the-wall teams. Now we have to see if he can back that up with good play. Tyranitar and Charizard, the leads for Angel, up against Landorus and Wash Rotom for Aaron. So both players making some changes here.
Yeah, potentially really good changes by Angel. He could be threatening a knockout in both slots here. An Ice Beam potentially if he has it, Ice Punch, something like that on Landorus. Solar Beam on this Rotom. Most people don't train their Rotom to survive Solar Beams like they used to in 2014 just because Charizard isn't quite what it used to be, and physically attacking Pokemon are getting even scarier. So we're more likely to see Bold Rotom than Calm nowadays. But also a risky play to make because you don't want to take a Hydro Pump or a Thunderbolt back if you guess wrong. And if Rotom can be knocked up by that Solar Beam, it's not super likely that just going to sit there and let it happen anyway. But I think Angel does kind of get the lead advantage, which he needs. I think in a matchup where you have a team disadvantage, if you also lose Team Preview, you are in a world of trouble, especially down 0-1. So Angel keeping himself in it so far.
And it looks like there will be no switches, so all Pokemon staying in the field for both Aaron and Angel. Charizard will immediately Mega Evolve into that Mega Charizard, blowing away all of the sand, brings out the sun. Drought on the field now. Ice Punch from Angel's Tyranitar, as you predicted, onto the Landorus. So Angel going for exactly the move that you thought, a critical hit on top of it. Landorus feints on Aaron's side, Angel getting a very early advantage. Solar Beam onto the Wash Rotom, so Aaron just letting this happen to him. Looks like it could be 2 quick KOs for Angel. Solar Beam onto the Wash Rotom, barely survives. So this Wash Rotom a little bit bulkier, a little bit more of a throwback to 2014. Recovers with the Citrus Berry and gets a Will-O-Wisp up onto the Tyranitar, and that's going to be really tough for Tyranitar to bounce back from, but I'd feel pretty good if I was Angel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get a knockout and almost another one. And actually get some pretty good information, too, learning for sure that Aaron's using that Calm Rotom. Something feels right about Aaron using a Rotom that's a bit of a throwback, but it pays off for him there. He gets that Will-O-Wisp on the Tyranitar, and unlike the Tyranitar on Aaron's side, which you saw show some special attacks to us, looks like Angel's going full physical on his. Ice Punch existing now, not being a promo move like it was last year, but being a move tutor kind of makes it easier to get an Ice Punch Tyranitar and run the full physical set. Also kind of seeing one of the weaknesses of using the Landorus that Aaron is using with the special attacking Incarnate form Landorus, even though it does more damage than the Therian form, it doesn't have that Intimidate. And while I guess the critical hit would have got around Intimidate anyway, without that, the Therian Landorus would have been able to survive the same attack.
Yeah, so definitely one of the downfalls of choosing that Incarnate form. One of the reasons we don't see it that often. Aaron actually going to switch his Tyranitar out as well. Just wanted to get the sun off the field from Charizard. Angel's Tyranitar also leaving. The dinosaurs are now extinct on the field. Sylveon switching in place of Tyranitar. So Aegis Slash and Sylveon on the field. Charizard protecting. So only Pokemon that will be making an attack is Rotom. The Hydro Pump into the Tyranitar slot will connect with the Sylveon. Of course, Sylveon very bulky especially, so not taking that much damage. But just a little bit of damage, any kind of chip damage onto Sylveon helps too.
It does, but that's a really great switch by Angel. Kind of wisely, Aaron just kind of showing the threat of Tyranitar, then removing it because, Charizard just not going to let that happen. But because a Protect happened there instead of a switch, and now Charizard gets to start on Aegislash. Getting the Protect instead was kind of the worst thing that could happen. And bringing Sylveon in is a big deal, too. Not only will Hyper Voice either knock out Rotom or come very close, but, the temptation here is now you want to switch Tyranitar back in to deal with Charizard, but oops, now I've got to deal with Hyper Voice. So again, unless Aegislash has Wide Guard, Aaron's in a really tough spot, and even if it does, we see Charizard most often carrying Flamethrower, sometimes in addition to Overheat now, which Aegislash with a Wide Guard is not going to be able to handle. So, I mean, unless like a King Shield and then a switch to Tyranitar plus a Wide Guard is kind of the only out here, and we don't see that. So, Aaron could be in trouble in this game too.
Angel will protect his Sylveon. King Shield from his Aegislash. So both the Sylveon and the Aegislash trying to protect themselves. Flamethrower from Angel's Charizard, as you mentioned, trying to get around those Wide Guards. Hydro Pump finally connecting with that Charizard. Going to deal a lot of damage. Not quite picking up the KO, but putting it on a timer with the sand damage coming in at the end of the turn.
Yeah, it comes close enough that that's actually a big deal. Now, there isn't too much longer for Charizard to be able to hang on. And if it can't knock out this Aegislash, it's in trouble. The temptation now on Aaron's side, get Tyranitar in there and block a Flamethrower, and all of a sudden, maybe you can get rid of this Charizard. At the very least, you've got your own Tyranitar out there. Any attack now will knock out Charizard. I think it's very important for Angel to close this game to find a way to get his Charizard out there and knock out Aegislash. So he's going to have to get rid of Tyranitar and Rotom pretty quickly here, or maybe Aaron can still take this one.
Yeah, Aaron does still have to worry about that Sylveon, though, on Angel's side, so no Wide Guard being shown just yet. Hyper Voice still a huge threat to Aaron's team.
That it is.
Yeah, and we are going to see the Rotom switching out in favor of Tyranitar. As you mentioned, trying to get that Tyranitar out on the field. May have been better to switch it out for the Aegislash, but the Wide Guard does come out, so Aaron does pack that Wide Guard on his Aegislash, so no Hyper Voice going to come out on Angel's side. Flamethrower on Aegislash dealing a little bit of damage, but since it's not in the sun, not able to pick up the KO. And the Wide Guard protecting both Aegislash and the Tyranitar from the Hyper Voice. And now Charizard at just a sliver of health, and with that Tyranitar on the field. Charizard probably needs to run away if it wants to keep playing.
That it does. I mean, he may be able to just sacrifice Charizard now. Getting that one Flamethrower off on Aegislash is enough. Now, any of the Pokemon on Angel's team can probably finish off Aegislash given the opportunity, but Aaron made the play he had to there. Aegislash survived long enough to get Tyranitar back in, and he's still got a shot at this one.
Yeah, Aegislash running away for the Rotom. Sylveon also protecting itself. So Wash Rotom on the field now. Tyranitar with the Rock Slide, of course, at the end of the day. Tyranitar doing what Tyranitar does best. Rock Slide connects with Charizard, picks up the KO there, and now Wash Rotom and Tyranitar up against Sylveon, and whichever Pokemon Angel decides to bring in the back.
Aaron's coming back. He gets a big knockout there.
Slowly but surely.
And that Choice Scarf Tyranitar staring you down is never something you want to deal with. We've seen Landorus go on some pretty crazy strees with its Choice Scarf and Rock Slide. This Tyranitar has the option of doing the same thing. However, we have seen Superpower from it that would be able to knock out either of these Pokemon. Well, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't. I mean, with the burn, I think Tyranitar would probably be able to take two, but Rotom weak enough that one would probably get rid of it, which would be a big deal because then Charizard could come back in and turn the sand off. However, it wouldn't knock out Charizard, or Tyranitar rather, who would be able to knock out Charizard. That's still the big problem for Angel. He's got to find a way to deal with this, but he's kind of running out of ways. If he uses any move other than, I guess, really anything to knock out Rotom, he's going to have a hard time getting Tyranitar afterward.
Angel will go first with his Tyranitar. Superpower connects on Aaron's, but not going to pick up the KO, as you mentioned, so dropping its stats. Tyranitar's Rock Slide. Sylveon avoids the Rock Slide, so Sylveon not going to get flinched at all this turn, will be able to get off an attack. Thunderbolt from Aaron's Rotom. Going to deal some good damage, but not enough to pick up the KO. Really needed that Rock Slide to connect to pick up the KO on Sylveon, and Hyper Voice coming out will pick up the double KO.
It's too bad for Aaron. I think he was pretty sure the combination of Thunderbolt and Rock Slide is going to get the knockout. He doesn't even go for the Hydro Pump, just kind of assuming he's got the KO there, and he just misses it. Tough break there. A game that could easily have gone to Aaron now. It's pretty comfortably in the hands of his opponent. Angel can kind of bring in Charizard at his leisure here as long as he doesn't crazily switch it in. Should be able to close out the game. So we should be heading to a third game between two of the best players in the country.
Yeah, Tyranitar locked into that superpower, not able to deal any damage to Aegislash, but Hyper Voice will pick up the KO quite easily on Aegislash. And Angel takes back game 2 and sends us to game 3.
We really see how difficult the series is going to be for Angel to pull off, though. I thought he played a really fantastic game there.
He had to play perfectly and get a little bit lucky.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I think that he did almost everything right that series, and even having done that, at the very least, it probably would have come down to a roll had Rock Slide hit, and there's always that chance of flinching. I would feel better going into that game if I was Aaron or going to game 3, I guess, if I was Angel, or Aaron than Angel.
Yeah.
Even considering what happened there.
The hard part is staying mentally strong. You know that you had that game most likely, if not for the Rock Slide miss. You have to be able to put that behind you as you go into game 3 and not let that sort of take over your mindset. And we're going to hop straight into game 3. Both of these players are just eager to get going. So we're going to transfer right over to the players. Again, Angel on the top of your screen, and Aaron will be at the bottom of your screen. And, game 3, as we mentioned before, we're going to be seeing a lot of these. Really close sets so far, but you have to be confident if you're Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if it come down, I think he came down to more than luck in that last game. But you got to think he kind of got outplayed. He got a little bit unlucky, and he still was inches from winning the game.
Yeah.
So kind of think about that, just play a little bit better, get a little bit luckier, I'm probably going to be okay here. On Angel's side, you're still probably thinking, I've got to find a way to make a couple big plays because that's what it's going to take for him to have a shot at this one.
Yeah, exactly. He'll need to make some plays to blow the game open. Otherwise, Aaron may just be able to take this game 3. So both players sending out their lead Pokemon. Of course, Angel on the top of your screen again, Aaron at the bottom of your screen. Both of these competitors, no stranger to high-pressure situations like this. Angel leads Charizard, Sylveon, up against Aaron's Landorus and Aegislash. And another good position for Angel to be in right from the start.
That it is, sort of. I mean, I think this one's pretty...
You have to be a little bit worried about that Landorus.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty neutral. Charizard's in a good position. Sylveon, a little bit less so, though, with Drought, Flamethrower would knock out Aegislash, so not in a bad spot. He doesn't know what attacks this Landorus has yet, so if it's running something that can chunk Charizard, a little bit more dangerous, but still a pretty good turn 1, and that's important. We saw in the last game that Angel got pretty much the best turn 1 you could ever dream of, short of critical hitting the Solar Beam, and the game was still close. So starting off the right foot keeps Angel in this one, but I don't think this is nearly as bad as last time. I'd be very surprised to see Aaron nearly lose 2 Pokemon here, but he's definitely going to have to play this one a little bit more conservatively.
Well, it looks like both Pokemon are still going to stay in. All 4 Pokemon staying on the field. No one wants to retreat from the lead. Both think that they can take this one back. Charizard will Mega Evolve into that Mega Charizard, bring the Sun, boost its Fire-type attacks. Sylveon protecting, so Angel will be playing the more conservative role this time with the Protect on Sylveon. Stone Edge from Landorus connects to Charizard, so that's special attacking. Landorus Incarnate form also has a physical Stone Edge. Will pick up a 1-hit KO on the Mega Charizard, and that is the worst thing you could see if you're Angel.
Yeah, that it is. I mean, like I mentioned, I don't think the situation was nearly as bad for Aaron as it was the previous time. You never know what this Landorus might have, but it doesn't have that Sheer Force it did last year. It's 2 years ago rather. It has to use Sand Force now because the hidden abilities of that trio haven't been released. Because of that, you're kind of looking for excuses to run ground and rock type attacks because that's all my ability is going to boost anyway. We do see that rock type attack there, and it puts Angel in a very difficult spot. Charizard did a lot in the last game to help bring him to his win. So not only being down 4-3, but losing his Mega Pokemon, and a Pokemon that's very important in a matchup where he doesn't have many Pokemon with a good matchup is really tough for him here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really hard to envision a scenario where Angel still is able to win this game without Charizard. And Tyranitar out on the field, probably not going to cut it.
That's definitely not going to help, especially because you have to select a move here. Aaron will get a chance to kind of play conservatively, figure out is Tyranitar going to lock into an Ice Beam, is going to lock into Insurance, make an appropriate move. I think Assurance would be very hard to use here, but just because you have to worry about getting shut down by King Shield.
As we see the King Shield from the Aegislash and the Protect from Landorus. So Aaron, as you mentioned, just trying to scout out what Angel's going to lock himself into with this Tyranitar. Crunch from Shield, and that's basically going to make Tyranitar a non-issue now.
That it is, and Angel kind of has to go for the Aegislash in the sense that you don't want it just taking free shots at your Sylveon, but really easy play by Aaron. You're against a choice Pokemon. You have 2 Pokemon with a Protect move. It doesn't make any sense to do anything but to scout it out, figure out what it has to lock into. And by locking in to crunch like that. Tyrannostar is just not going to be able to do much until it switches out now. Sylveon's basically got an Aegislash. Angel is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, every Pokemon on Aaron's side of the team of the field, both Landorus and Aegislash, are feeling incredibly comfortable up against this Sylveon and Tyranitar. I mean, as you mentioned, now with the sand on the field, Landorus is just even more powerful against that Tyranitar, which isn't going to be dealing any damage anymore.
That it isn't, and you know, you're seeing really, I guess, how strong Aaron is. You know, he's against another favorite to win this tournament, and he really has this one under control.
Well, Angel is going to try to deal as much damage as possible with that Tyranitar, but you're just seeing how much that attack drop hurts, dealing very little damage to Landorus, while the Earth Power almost picks up a one-hit KO for Aaron's side. Hyper Voice from Sylveon going to deal a lot of damage to the Landorus, so a critical hit actually picking up the KO for Angel. He's going to need a lot more where that came from to pick up the win here, though. Aegislash switching back to the Blade form, going to get off an attack onto that Shadow Ball onto the Tyranitar slot. Can just pick up the KO there, whichever might have switched in. Wanted to make sure that that Jellicent didn't potentially get a free switch in, maybe. And now Sylveon, you know, Sylveon is a powerful Pokemon. It's not going to win you the game when there's an Aegislash right across the field from you.
Especially that one with Wide Guard. It makes it much easier for Aaron to kind of just cleverly, slowly close this one out. I think Aegislash is the last Pokemon there. Makes that Shadow Ball. It's going for it pretty clever. Even though he doesn't get it, you know, had he caught that Aegislash, it would have definitely closed this one up. The way this plays out, it's a little bit more interesting. Tyranitar has to be careful with both of these Pokemon, and Aegislash kind of does too. It both wants to Wide Guard and not be hit by a Shadow Ball, and you know it has to pick one, right? It can't use both King Shield or its own Shadow Ball or Wide Guard. It's got to pick. So Angel can sort of outplay Aaron here and keep himself in the game to an extent, but you know Aaron's got 3 pretty healthy Pokemon against 2, and his Aegislash is pretty annoying for both of Angel's remaining Pokemon. So we'll have to see what Tyranitar locks in here, but Aaron's still in really good shape.
It's going to take a huge outplay for Angel to be able to get back into this game. Aaron's own Tyranitar using that Assurance onto Angel's Aegislash, dealing some good damage through the shield form. Stance change into the Blade, so moving before Aaron's Aegislash gets the Shadow Ball off, will probably be able to pick up the KO, gets the Shadow Ball onto Aaron's Aegislash, gets the KO, and that's going to mean that Aaron goes down. Sylveon using Calm Mind, so maybe now that Aegislash is off the field, boosted Hyper Voices from this Sylveon, Angel making the play he needed, getting himself right back into this game.
Yeah, we may have seen that big outplay you were talking about. It turns out that Angel's Aegislash is pretty quick too. We saw in a previous match
Fast sword.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's just like pretty much just rolling around on rollerblades or something, but this one's pretty quick too.
And with Rotom, the last Pokemon, a special attacker up against a now boosted Sylveon, Angel somehow managing to claw his way back into this game.
Yeah, Angel's definitely now the player in the game with control. Calm Mind Sylveon, not something we've seen too much of at Nationals. Did win a regional championships and looked very, very dangerous there. And I don't know, when you got boosted Hyper Voices coming now, Tyranitar could be knocked out by just 1. Rotom's probably not going to be able to take more than 2, especially if Tyranitar goes down first and stops reducing the damage of those spread attacks. Aegislash still dangerous enough you can't ignore it here. I mean, I thought Aaron had this one, but Angel may be turning this one around.
Yeah, Angel definitely trying to turn it around. He's trying to preserve as much momentum as possible, protecting that Aegislash using King Shield now. Sylveon protecting as well, just trying to see what Aaron wants to do here. A little bit of damage onto the Wash Rotom as well, and switching that Aegislash back to the shield so it takes a little bit less damage next turn. So good move from Angel there, back in control of the game. Sylveon saving that Calm Mind for game 3 too.
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder if Aaron knew it was there or not. There's a lot of different sets you can run on Sylveon, all of which are effective, and you know, surprising with the Calm Mind makes it that much more effective. The double protect that turn for Angel, kind of the only viable play. Got to get Aegislash back in shield form to make this turn a little bit safer, not be able to just be knocked out by that Assurance.
Yep, as you can see, now that Aegislash is in shield form, is able to protect itself from the Assurance, needs to be double targeted by both the Rotom and the Tyranitar. But now that boosted Sylveon Hyper Voice connecting with both Pokemon, will he get the rolls that he needs? Not quite enough. Tyranitar just barely surviving with 7 hit points. Rotom activating its Citrus Berry. I didn't quite catch the numbers there. Sandstorm subsiding, so Rotom's still going to be a little bit more healthy. Probably still enough to get the double KO, though, if Sylveon survives.
Yeah, I would certainly expect it to, so Aaron's probably going to need a critical hit here.
Assurance from Tyranitar onto Sylveon. Is he going to get the critical hit? No, not very effective at all. Hydro Pump from Rotom onto Sylveon. going to connect finally onto the Sylveon, but so little damage. Sylveon, Hyper Voice, Angel Miranda pulling it out from the brink and takes game 3.
What an amazing series. You know, it looked like Angel's going to go down there. Aaron had a big lead in the final game. He took that first game so decisively. A couple times that series seemed like Angel was down, but, you know, he doesn't give up. He plays it perfectly from behind.